Have you ever noticed how some people just walk into a room, say one sentence, and suddenly everyone stops to listen? Meanwhile, others, no matter how hard they try, get ignored or interrupted. It's not about being the loudest, smartest, or most experienced person in the room. It's about how you speak. In this video, we're going to explore ways to speak so that people can't help but respect you. Some of these tips might make you nod in agreement, and others might push you out of your comfort zone. But I promise, they'll change how others see. Ready to level up your voice? Let's get started. Mastering the art of the pause. Silence is not absence, it is presence. It is where your strength resides. Do you feel it? The slight tension that silence creates. Most people cannot bear it. They fill the void with noise, rushed words, needless elaborations, attempts to dominate the space. But silence commands. We live in a world obsessed with speed. Fast talkers are often seen as clever, but rapid words are like water over a stone. They pass by, leaving no mark. A pause, however, is different. It demands attention, like the stillness before a storm. Imagine a melody without pauses, just a relentless beat. Overwhelming, isn't it? In both music and speech, the pause gives meaning, rhythm, and depth. I once believed silence betrayed uncertainty. In meetings, I would over-explain, anticipating every question before it could be asked. My words became a flood, drowning their focus. After one such meeting, a mentor said to me, "You had them in the first 30 seconds, but then you lost them." Learn to stop speaking. To pause is not to surrender. It is to trust. It says, "My words have value." They need no filler to prove their worth. Think of history's greatest speeches. Their power lay not in their length, but in their precision. The speaker trusted their words to echo in silence, leaving space for the listener to absorb, to reflect, to respond. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not necessary to say, why say it?" A pause is the embodiment of this wisdom. It speaks louder than endless words ever could. Next time you speak, say what needs to be said. Then stop. Sit with the silence. Let it carry the weight of your meaning. You are not abandoning the conversation. You are inviting others to join it. Master the pause, and you master not only speech, but yourself. Do you feel the power of silence now? Using humor without becoming the joke. The Stoic understands that humor, like any other tool, is only powerful when wielded wisely. It can bring joy, foster connection, and lighten the heaviest of moods. But when misused, it can turn us into fools in the eyes of others. As Epictetus once said, "We cannot control what others think, but we can control how we act." With that in mind, consider carefully how you employ humor. Don't let it harm yourself or others. Start by clarifying your intent. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, every action must have a purpose. If your goal is to ease tension or connect with others, then humor can be a noble choice. But if you use it to seek approval or mask your insecurities, you're relinquishing control. A true Stoic knows their worth doesn't stem from the applause of the crowd. Using humor doesn't mean turning yourself into the punchline. Self-deprecation can be an effective way to show humility. But as Seneca wisely observed, there is no greatness in diminishing oneself. Keep your self-deprecating humor in check. Use it sparingly, like a pinch of salt, not the whole meal. A clever joke, laced with self-awareness, can draw laughter without sacrificing respect. More importantly, stay mindful. A Stoic knows how to read the room, discerning when to speak and when to stay silent. Don't force a joke in an ill-suited setting. As Marcus Aurelius advised, say what needs to be said, or remain silent. The most powerful humor is that which fits the moment, used appropriately, in the right place, at the right time. Finally, remember, the laughter of others does not define your worth. A Stoic seeks fulfillment from within, not validation from outside. Use humor as a tool to build relationships, not as a mask to hide your true self. For just like sunlight, humor is most beautiful when it is natural and genuine. If you can master this balance, you won't just make people laugh, you'll earn their respect. Stop saying, "I'm sorry." 2 words, "I'm sorry," may seem small, but they hold the power to diminish. When spoken unnecessarily, they signal not humility, but doubt. They whisper, "I am the problem. I am unworthy." And the world listens. Consider this. You arrive 2 minutes late and say, "Sorry, I'm late." In truth, it was life, not you, that delayed your arrival. Or when someone bumps into you and you instinctively say, "Sorry." What are you apologizing for? Existing. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." Unnecessary apologies chip away at your self-respect. They train others to see you as lesser, and worse, they train you to believe it. Instead, reframe your language. If late, express gratitude. Thank you for your patience. If interrupted, hold your ground. Allow me to finish. If you wish to contribute, state your idea directly. I believe this could work. These words convey confidence, not contrition. The urge to apologize often stems from discomfort with taking up space. Yet, by constantly saying sorry, you teach others and yourself that your presence requires justification. It does not. Ask yourself, am I truly at fault, or am I apologizing to smooth over discomfort? If it is the latter, pause. Resist. Speak with clarity and self-assurance. Respect begins with how you treat yourself. When you stop apologizing unnecessarily, you reclaim your dignity. People will notice, they will listen, and they will respect you. Not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. Own your space. You owe no apology for being exactly who you are. Stop gossiping. A Stoic wastes no time on things that bring no value to the soul. Gossip is a perfect example. It's tempting, even entertaining, but ultimately shallow and distracting. It pulls us away from what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." And that's the essence of it. When you gossip, you're losing yourself in what's trivial instead of building on what's meaningful. Ask yourself, what does gossip actually accomplish? It often begins as a way to connect, but it quickly devolves into judgment and negativity. Talking about others might give a fleeting sense of power, as though you hold insights into their lives. But that's an illusion. A Stoic understands that real strength lies in mastering their own thoughts and words, not in tearing others down. Epictetus reminded us, "Do not let your mind be distracted by things outside your control." The lives of others are not your responsibility. When you invest energy in discussing their faults or failures, you lose the opportunity to confront your own challenges. A Stoic doesn't squander their time on meaningless chatter. They focus on self-improvement and what truly matters. So how do you break free from the habit of gossiping? First, practice silence. Silence is not weakness. It's a demonstration of strength. When you feel tempted to join a negative conversation, remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. You always have the option to not have an opinion. Silence is your way of choosing not to engage in what doesn't serve you. Second, redirect your focus. Instead of talking about others, Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? A Stoic views everything as an opportunity for growth. If you witness someone make a mistake, resist the urge to judge. Instead, reflect on how you might avoid a similar error. Finally, cultivate compassion. A Stoic doesn't judge others harshly because they understand that everyone is fighting unseen battles. When you feel the urge to gossip, remind yourself that compassion isn't just for others, it's also for you. You deserve a mind that's at peace, unburdened by trivialities. Stop gossiping, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you deserve a life focused on what truly matters. A life where your words, thoughts, and actions align with your values. In the end, a Stoic understands that it's not what you say about others that defines you, but what you do to become the best version of yourself. Set boundaries and stand by them. If you don't set boundaries, you're not being selfless, you're being weak. Think about it. How many times have you said yes to something you didn't want to do, just to keep the peace? How often have you let others overstep your limits because you didn't want to seem difficult? Here's the truth. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about teaching them how to treat you with respect. Think of them as the rules in your personal game. Without boundaries, there are no rules. And without rules, people will act however they please. Guess what? That rarely ends well for you. Here's the controversial part. When you first start setting boundaries, people will get upset. Why? Because they've grown used to you always accommodating them. Believe me, I've been there. Once, I told a close friend I couldn't help them move because I already had other plans. Their response? Wow, I thought I could count on you. For a moment, I almost caved. But then it hit me. This wasn't about me being a bad friend. It was about them not respecting my time. So, I held firm. Guess what happened? They found someone else to help, and we're still friends. People will adjust, but only if you stick to your boundaries. Boundaries aren't about being difficult. They're about valuing your time, energy, and mental well-being. If you don't respect your own limits, no one else will. And here's the key point. Boundaries aren't just for people who already respect you. They're especially for those who don't. Here's a tip. Don't over-explain. A simple no is enough. No justifications, no apologies. And this is crucial. Stay firm. If you give in, you're teaching people that your boundaries are negotiable. Start small. Saying no is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Practice with minor things, like declining an invitation you're not excited about. Once you realize the world won't fall apart, saying no becomes easier. Let's face it, setting boundaries isn't easy. It'll make you uncomfortable, and it might upset a few people. But what's the alternative? Living a life where everyone else's needs come before your own. Trust me, from experience, that's the fastest road to burnout and resentment. So, start small. Define what you need. Communicate it clearly. And most importantly, hold the line. Because the only people who will be upset by your boundaries are those who benefited from you not having any. And honestly, letting those people go is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Respect doesn't come from tips or tricks. It stems from how you carry yourself and treat others daily. Whether it's mastering the pause, dropping unnecessary apologies, or setting firm boundaries, remember this. Respect begins with you. If today's lessons resonated with you, don't keep them to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Let me know in the comments which practice you'll try first, or share your own tips for earning respect in conversations. And if you haven't already, subscribe to join this community of seekers, thinkers, and maybe a few bad joke enthusiasts. Until next time, speak with purpose, carry yourself with dignity, and most importantly, respect yourself enough to demand the same from others. See you in the next video. Take care.